Good morning, Kilmer community. Today is Tuesday, March 9th, 2021. As a reminder, our core values are respect, responsibility, and empathy. I hope that you are showing that each and every day. Yesterday marked International Women's Day, and we continue in this march looking at the contributions of women to our history. I wanted to go back to a couple of people that I had been talking to about last week. So last week I spoke to you about Lucretia Motts and Elizabeth Stanton. I want to focus a little bit on Elizabeth Stanton and the Seneca Falls Convention. Before I talk a little bit more about Elizabeth Stanton, I think it's important to know where this was taking place. As you can see, this is Massachusetts, and this is where we are. And the Seneca conventions were in Seneca Falls, right in this area, and that is considered upstate New York. So this is where it was taking place, and it's so close to home. So just to remind you, Elizabeth Stanton, she had met Lucretia at an anti-slavery convention in London back in, when was that? 1840. And at that time, they were not allowed to actually go into the convention. It was for anti-slavery, but they were not allowed to go in because they were women. And this infuriated the two, so they made a commitment and a vow that they were going to fight for the rights of women. So they put together the Seneca Falls Convention that was held in 1948, and it was a campaign for women's suffrage or the right to vote. Now, Elizabeth was the main author of the Declaration of Sentiments, which mimicked in many ways the Declaration of Independence. So this is what she ended up writing, or a part of this, and I think it's important. I want you to see this. So as you can see, that's highlighted in blue. It says, "We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men and women are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness." This was the same wordage in the Declaration of Independence, except it said that all men are created equal, not men and women. So as you can imagine, as a woman at that time, women were not allowed to a college education. They were not allowed to own property while they were married. And the most controversial resolution that they were fighting for was the right to vote. We take for granted that we can vote as women, as men, once you turn 18, but women were not allowed to at one time. So they were definitely fighting for that. So this actually led women to organize and fight for their rights, basically for years to come. All right, so that's where Elizabeth was so important. She didn't do this alone, of course. She had other women leaders who were doing this work with her. On Thursday, I'm actually going to feature another woman that came to me from one of our students from his culture. So look out for that. All right, and then for Mr. Kernan's classroom especially, they loved the word of the day, so I'm just bringing it back a little bit. Look at this word here, allophile. Allophile. What does that mean? You might see a couple of words below this. I will tell you that if you speak Greek, or if you know about Greek words, then you'll know that alloros means cat, and phile means the love of. So basically, allophile means a cat lover. So I have cats. Who else has cats in their home? I have a cat. His name is Dexter. So some people, he's using it in a sentence. Even though I only have dogs, which is not true because I have cats, I'm an allophile at heart. And you might see phile, the lover of, like bibliophile, lover of books. So I hope you enjoyed that word, especially shout out to Mr. Kernan's class, bringing it back. All right, and then last, let's hear some jokes. So Miss Matlin had some of her second grade students who are bilingual share a couple of jokes. So this is a shout out for Jonathan, Samantha, Emmanuel, and Kenner. Here's the first joke. Why didn't the orange win the race? This is a good one, actually. Why didn't the orange win the race? Because it ran out of juice. Oh, goodness, I love that one. It ran out of juice. I can hear that one. And then the last, it's actually more of a riddle. What gets wetter the more it dries? What gets wetter the more it dries? I bet some of you know this one. A towel. Yes. You get out of the shower or the bath, you're drying yourself off with a nice dry towel, and it's getting wetter. So thank you again, Miss Matlin and the second grade students for sending that to me. And then finally, you know, I was wondering why the ball kept getting bigger and bigger. And then it hit me. All right. You like that one? That cracked me up. I wonder why the ball was getting bigger and bigger. And then it hit me. Okay. So on that note, we love you. We care for you. We have seen so many beautiful faces in the building last week and continuing this week. And then next week, we will have grades 4 through 8 joining us too. So can't wait for that. So until then, always be your best you and make today and every day a great day. I will see you next time.